This evening, we are pleased to share our work at New Horizons with the board and the community. We have strong representation here from New Horizons. Gavin, we have Jack, we have Percy, we have Devin, Dylan, Jaden, and our own Mr. H, who is from the first graduating class of New Horizons and who is now a teacher with New Horizons as part of the team. We'd like to basically walk the community through a project that has three primary components. I will describe sort of the overarching piece, and then the students will elaborate from there. I know they have a lot to say. With the first slide, the bottom half is as clear as I'd like it to be, but New Horizons for Learning Charter School provides a learning setting for 24 students. We cover grades 9 through 12. We integrate our curriculum, and we use an authentic learning approach and style to what we do. In efforts to take what we learn in the classroom, we provide collectively projects, experiences, excursions for students to take learning beyond the classroom and carry what's learned in the classroom to the community. This particular project we titled Fostering Equity. Equity has been a very, very important part of professional development over the past 2 years, and something introduced by Dr. Davies to our faculty, and that being something that is of primary importance to make sure that within each classroom, within each setting, and the opportunity for each student to understand how to address equity and be part of something to impact community, we decided to tend to equity, not necessarily just go through curriculum and move on, but something that we evaluate, we reflect upon, and that we incorporate into everything that we do. Okay. The way that we organized and if I could just backtrack here, 3 primary components to this particular project of fostering equity. If you look to the left, it's an image that was taken at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. Through their Center for Humanities, the university offers something called the Great World Text Program, and a committee selects a piece of work by authors from various cultures around the world, and then we build our experiences around that. And in spring, about 1,000 high school students from the state of Wisconsin gather at the university at Union South, and typically we meet the author. This year we read A Small Place. The author is Jamaica Kincaid. Jamaica Kincaid was experiencing serious health issues leading up to the summit, but the university offered someone who really filled her shoes well and provided students with ample feedback for questions. The center photo focuses on work that we've been doing out in the community. New Horizons and the students have been really invested in Harambe community and working at a Peace Park off of Dr. Martin Luther King Drive and a Victory Over Violence Park. And the partnering groups have been Heart Love Family Place and Groundwork Milwaukee. This particular photo is the second component of our work, and we're building 27 lending libraries. Those libraries then are donated to various parks and focus on a project with Dr. Martin Luther King Elementary School students as creating lending libraries within the school that are made into art pieces. And then with a colleague, Renee Glendon, who is also one of the team at New Horizons, she has been instrumental in providing children's books donated by Next Door Foundation. So New Horizons students go into the classroom, read with students, and those books stay within the school. The last piece on the right is an experience that takes us beyond the state of Wisconsin. We traveled to Chicago, to North Park University, and there, through an invitation by a sociology professor, we work with university seniors As a stakeholder, we work with high school students just outside of Inglewood. The school is called Julian High School, and they have an alternative education curriculum, and the acronym is BAM, Becoming a Man curriculum. And so the three groups get together and we examine the issues and the topics surrounding equity, primarily justice and education, and we build bridges beyond the district, beyond our city, and beyond our state. So, the first piece here is what we've done addressing equity through literacy. And we have one of our seniors, Gavin, who brought his project in, which is a lending library that was created as part of the work with Groundwork Milwaukee, and he incorporated that into some of the symbolism and themes focusing on the summit in Madison. Would you care to say a few words and share?
So basically what I did was I painted each side depicting a different section of the book. And so the bottom, in the book, it talks about they had a library that had been destroyed by the hurricane. And so basically they could not afford to rebuild the library, so it just sat there and destroyed. And so I put on the bottom of it, repairs pending.
Oh, inside. Oh,
And then on the back, it's depicting basically what the tourists see. They see the luxury and how beautiful the island is, but they don't really, I guess, care what the islanders are, how they're seeing things. And then this, I painted a picture of the sugar plantation, like the sugar plantations that they had and the sugar mills. And then I put the sign for pointing to each of the different main places in the book. And then on this side I put the Mill Reef Club, which was a big place for like the richer people, and a lot of like the African Americans were the workers.
So it takes place on the island of Antigua, and we're fortunate to have a parent who lived on the island of Antigua to help educate us, and we examined some of the inequities that Gavin just shared, and then solutions and strides toward equity. Are there any other projects or comments about the summit and the experience?
Oh, do I need the mic or?
Yes.
Oh. Hello, everybody. My name is Percy Duckworth. I am a current student within New Horizons. I just want to thank Bohdan, Mr. H, and Miss G. I don't know if she's here. Is she here?
I'm not sure.
Oh. Well, comments I want to say about like at the North Park University with BAM, equity was like, equity is like kind of like equal, and like with the within like the classroom showing like equalness, kind of like how I could say like an example is like everybody's treated with equal rights and everybody's treated equally. No one's like treated differently the way they're a senior, freshman, or sophomore. Everybody's treated with the equal. Sorry, my bad. I'm kind of tired. Equal respect and other things. But going on with BAM. I had a great time going there and seeing Bohdan's sister. She was pretty nice, pretty cool, and communicating with like the students there and like kind of like going over equity and other things with the BAM students was like really cool because like when they first saw us, they thought we were like really privileged because we go to Shorewood High School. We're like in a high privileged neighborhood, but as we talked and go over like the same struggles, they kind of like realized like, oh, they're just like us, like kind of like equities in that same part of with Shorewood and BAM, and then they kind of understanding us. So it was pretty nice.
Thanks for sharing.
So basically during the whole experience, it was very, talking about North Park. I was sitting actually next to a kid who had been homeless for a couple of years, and I had no idea. We were having very in-depth conversations, and, he just seemed like your average guy, like nothing really wrong with him, and we talked and had a really in-depth conversation, and I didn't find out till 3 weeks after, and it just really shows, when you're looking someone eye to eye and you're talking to them, you're not looking down or up, you're looking right at them, and it's just, you can talk about anything, and it really was a very amazing experience to have, talking to other people about, injustice within education.
Well, as we go through the next couple of slides, maybe some more ideas will surface.
I could talk about the North Park.
Sure.
Hey, Brandon Anfield, Mr. H. I think the North Park and teaming up with BAM was very important, just because they were able to see the inequity in each school. They was able to see a very inner city school and the students that go to that school and they struggles, and compare it to their struggles at a school like Shorewood that's very up to date with a lot of stuff. They had battle with not having internet in classes and not having certain resources that we have, and it was very important for them to talk to other students who have struggles and be like, oh, y'all learn just like us. Like, it's a huge gap, but we have a lot in common. And it was very important for them to see that and, just have that conversation.
Okay. So this particular component addresses equity through literacy, and a partnership through UW-Madison, something that we've been part of for 6 years now. And as I mentioned, Mrs. London was instrumental in pursuing a grant and a partnership, and we've come back to Madison and we've brought all of our students there every year since. Here you can see a plenary session presenter in the upper right in a project where a New Horizons student and representatives from each of the schools participating in the Great World Text Program had to stand up in front of 1,000 students and share their experience, their work, and what it symbolizes. To the left, we have several New Horizons students, and the whole idea of demonstrating one's learning through their choice and through their strengths is something that is important, and it's something that we bring to our projects and something that we examine together as well. Because each of the students here, and every year those students' strengths and interests change, students bring with them experience, they bring with them ideas, they bring with them passion, and making sure that we provide space for each of the students to contribute, not just to take, but to contribute to the fostering of learning and the fostering of equity is a priority for us. And then in the bottom right is basically a shot from the side of all the students. The second component of the project I shared a little bit about, it began partnering up with Milwaukee School of Engineering, Michael Carrier, and brought us to the Peace Park. And the Peace Park was a response to what happened in Sherman Park a few years ago. And the result was the formation of a park that brought people together off of Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. And it was centered in sort of a campus. There's a high school there, Hope High School. There's Dr. Martin Luther King Elementary School. There are 2 spiritual centers on the block. There's an assisted care facility. So you have different generations there, all within walking distance from a space that was underutilized. And we thought how valuable it would be for all of us to be able to access this place and to sit. And so New Horizons a couple of years ago, we worked with a gentleman, we constructed Aldo Leopold benches because there was nowhere for community members to sit and have a conversation face to face. From that, we've been involved in tending to in the construction of raised bed garden plots. There's going to be a mobile stage there. Again, hosting events and activities by different generations, bringing people together. And so this second portion of our project focused on contributing through the construction of products. And then going back to what seems to be a very energizing and confidence-building experience, and one that I think sort of created a shift, at least in our cohort, of how my students and the young people I get a chance to work with saw themselves as learners, saw themselves as change agents, saw themselves as empowered people who are heard and are able to act. So on the left, we chose the letter of invitation, formally from the university professor, the agenda, some of the questions that we needed to prepare and research for this experience to make it meaningful. And on the right, we have the focus groups, and Jack was referring to his focus group of sitting next to an individual who is incredibly courageous, who was raised by a grandfather who passed and had no one else, but made it a priority to be at school every day, made it a priority to find his voice, and was just this bright light in the room. And then across we have Professor Nedilsky, my younger sister, who we collaborate with and that we've referred back and forth over the years on various projects, and she opened her classroom up to us. Next, we sort of delved into what do we do in our programs, in our schools, differently from the mainstream. And so coming in and identifying the strengths and what we bring with us to these focus groups to have conversations in a university classroom was very powerful, and it guided us. So it wasn't just examining the issue, but it was learning about one another. And that's an important part of the process. It's not just about the content. It's about bringing people together and building bridges and confidence in the process. So BAM is an alternative curriculum. New Horizons provides an opportunity for alternative curriculum. And in fact, North Park University Practicum in Sociology takes students beyond the classroom and they impact community. Anything to add, guys? Here's some of the overarching questions that we examined. So now that we know a little bit about one another's programs, what exactly do we do? What makes our settings something that works for us? Why is this alternative providing and equipping us as individuals, and why is it engaging us in the learning process? Please do.
My name is Dylan Rozak, and something different that we do in besides the mainstream classroom is that we do hands-on learning, which is very important, and also we do one-on-one learning with our teacher. Well, we don't like to call it our teacher because we feel that all of us are equal. Equity is a really important thing. So, one-on-one learning is a very important thing for us. And yeah.
So with our education and the alternate education, it really gives us a chance to flourish and use hands-on skills while also learning things that are relevant to us and relevant to what the world and what the community needs. And it really just gives you, I mean, normally in school when you're learning stuff, right after you get out, you're just not really thinking about it, but stuff stays with you in New Horizons where it's things that you got to think about now because they're what's relevant to what's going on, and it's, you know, educational in so many ways. And just walking around, you know, something may happen and you might have learned it, you know, or come up in New Horizons talking about it. And having that alternate education and that mainstream really helps all of us in school, and because we can get in the morning, we have our other classes, and in the afternoon, you know, it's just your mind. You're never gonna have a day in New Horizons where you're just not like thinking really hard.
Adding on to what Jack said, I'm Devin, and adding on to what Jack said, I feel like all of us can say personally that we never walk into class wondering what we're gonna do. Like, we all basically know what our focus is, what we're most likely going to do, and we never find a day where we're bored, where we're on our phones. We never find a day where we're somewhat distracted.
As well as that, every day from New Horizons is very important because we come home and every day we have something to say to our parents.
And adding on to what we think equity, when we were at North Park, we don't use the words like them, we're working for them. We don't use those words, we're working with them, we're working together. So we create the situation equal.
And we identify what's different. And here, several students mentioned what's different. It isn't something that a teenager is excited to share with parents what happened at school. Sometimes it's a one-word answer, but we find that we're talking about school, we're talking about our projects, we're talking about our experiences, we're talking about things that happen beyond the classroom in the news or over the summer or through familial time, and we bring it back into the classroom and provide that space. How do we look to others to learn? In New Horizons, it isn't just about the teacher and the content, it's about introducing young people to community leaders. It's about introducing young people to individuals who've had life experience. It's introducing young people to younger people, right, that look up to them. And so this creates an opportunity to really experience and exercise the type of values that are the foundation in New Horizons. How do we do right? How do we do justice? So it isn't just about knowing, but doing. And this is something that is a continual process. And the group goes through highs and lows and growing pains. But we reflect on the beginning of the school year and how we've been able to really grow together. And that's what stays and creates a bond with the cohort. The last piece is sort of looking forward. In New Horizons, there is no end to addressing equity. Fostering equity requires constantly tending to something, and tending to it not just for 1 year, but tending to it and building off of it. And we have an advantage in New Horizons that we have freshmen, and some of those freshmen are in New Horizons all 4 years, but that also puts a greater responsibility on us to make sure that these lessons aren't left on the side. So as we craft our focus for next year, equity becomes part of that experience. We will visit North Park University again. We will connect with those students from Julian High School again, and we will form relationships with them and share stories of our growth as we approach the next year. This particular slide is a very significant one. It's a very important one because we are expanding our circle of equity. We've been invited back to Chicago, not to the university campus, but to the Cambodian Heritage Cultural Center. And here is a community that is in the process of healing. They are in the process of seeking equity, and they do it by not closing themselves off to the world. They do it by opening their doors. We will be having discussions there with the same three stakeholders: North Park's seniors, Julian High School juniors, and New Horizons students. But we'll be doing it in a setting where we're pulling in another stakeholder. There'll be a community meal with an ethnic meal together. We will then already be comfortable because we know people around us, and we will do that at the beginning of May. May 6th, we'll travel there to experience yet another component of our project. Any questions?
I'd like to just congratulate you, and I've been, privy to these stories through hearing and learning from your teacher. And I really appreciate what you said, Dylan, that this is really a democratic classroom. You really don't have a teacher, you're all teachers, you're all equals in this process. And I had a question. How did you find New Horizons, or how did New Horizons find you? So when you came here from the middle school or whatever school you may have been at before, or when you came to the high school, how did you land at New Horizons?
Well, I felt as if the mainstream classroom wasn't right for me, because not only did I not have the one-on-one experience I wanted, well, I shouldn't say I wanted, but I needed something else where I could use my time more wisely. And hands-on learning is perfect for me. So, but hands-on learning and one-on-one experience is the best thing for me. And I'm so happy that New Horizons found me, actually. So I'm really glad to be in New Horizons right now with all these special people. They're special to me. So thank you guys.
It wasn't that I was having bad grades. My grades were B's and C's and A's and just pretty average, and it was really just, I'm getting these grades right, but I don't feel anything I'm getting out of it. Am I gonna sit here for 4 years to go sit at college for another 4 years to get a degree I'm probably gonna spend a lot of money on and have a chance of not doing when, there's so many other jobs and ways of employment that are very successful that you can find in different ways that aren't traditional. And I felt that New Horizons would lead me into that, maybe finding something earlier in life that I like, where I know I can do something, I can have experience with it, have it on my resume, and that'll help me a lot. And I really just reached out to one of my resource teachers, talked to him, then went and talked to my counselor, and just had an interview and started then.
I really hope my mom's not in this, not in here, but
She can watch the tape later.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she'll see this, but honestly, come from my background, I really kind of BS through high school, and I'm just keeping it real. But I remember talking to Miss Norris, my counselor, and telling I don't know if I can do this, and I was kind of afraid that I might not graduate, and I didn't want to take the easy way out. But when I heard about New Horizons, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go through this easily, I'm just BS my way again. But when I first came in, they kind of had me open arms and invite me into their family, which was kind of cool. I never had a class of just open arms and I meet everybody. And New Horizons, it helped me grow as a person, because I really did not know what I really wanted to do after high school. But after talking to Bohdan, H, and Miss G, I kind of know what I want to be in. As my major, sorry. I really want to be a fashion designer, and talking to Bohdan, he gives the motivation that his work ethic is so crazy to me. I want to match the same work ethic for I can be the best I can be. And New Horizons has really helped me and grow as a family on me. I really thank New Horizons all, and everybody in this classroom, my class, Dylan, Jaden, Jack, Devin, there you go, and Gavin. But yeah, I'm really thankful for New Horizons though, for helping me.
So I knew that I really liked being outside and working hands-on, and I really wasn't learning that much for freshman year, and I thought I needed something else. So I talked to my counselor, and she told me about New Horizons, and I said, okay, let's give this a shot. And I feel like I've been welcomed, and I've welcomed the other people in, and it's just a growing community in New Horizons. We all look up to each other. We all add on to what we're talking about. I feel like we work as one whole person and be a team. Even though we might have different views on something, we all agree on one thing. So.
My name is Jaden, and I am very grateful that New Horizons found me and I found it. But I did not work well in the traditional classroom. It was something that I was failing at, and I needed another option. And Dr. A introduced me to Bohdan, and I really had a strong connection with him because we both like soccer. That was the first thing, but the connection goes on, and like I take these guys as like family. Like if I ever need anything, I know who to go to, and that's like a bond that I would never want to break, and it's something I'm very grateful to have.
I can actually basically relate to Jaden, just besides soccer. I was failing a lot in school, and I would not pass high school if I wasn't in New Horizons right now. I like to skip school and everything and just slack off, and I started shadowing for New Horizons one day, and then just decided to just keep coming back until I was in it. I basically put myself in there without any approval. So I was still skipping class when I was doing that. And I was in Miss Glenman's group, and wasn't my type of thing. Just I liked the stuff that they did, but I like being outdoors more, so I went into Bohdan's group, and ever since then my attendance has been almost okay. And I am now 2 credits away from graduating as of the end of last semester. I wouldn't be able to graduate if it wasn't for New Horizons.
You just wait. New Horizons found me when back in 2005 in the summer, and Bohdan was drafted up New Horizons, and he was my study hall teacher. I walked in, and Bohdan make everything sound great, and I was like, man, that sounds like a great program. So he it was going into my senior year, and him and Mr. Kenny came to my house, and they asked me to sign up. I was like, am I the first kid? And I was like, yeah. Like, come on, let's do it, all right? And just the experience that I never experienced ever in my life. Like, from the beginning, the first day, Bohdan kind of ordered our furniture late, so we didn't have any furniture in the class. I remember being a senior, and like, back then we used to do the running of the seniors in the hall and banging. You remember Mr. So he was banging on the hall. Yeah, I came back to the classroom tired, and it was just an empty class. My friends was like, "This your class?" Yeah. But after that, I mean, we got our furniture, and Bohdan introduced me to the Urban Ecology Center, which we still have that partnership today, and go every Tuesday today, almost 12 years ago. And it helped me so much. It helped me actually become the person I am today, because I did not realize that I had the power to talk to younger people and they would listen. So what Bohdan ended up doing with the Urban Ecology Center would teach us about the microvertebrates in the river, and we had to teach that lesson plan back to the younger children at Atwater and Lake Bluff. And I was only a senior then, and when you walk into a classroom full of first and second graders, and it's intimidating, and they could smell fear. I was like, oh my God. So it taught me how to really approach a situation with younger children. And 10 years later, I was teaching. I had an opportunity for Mr. Joint and Mr. Harris, and they gave me this opportunity. I still remember walking in New Horizons and feeling like, wow, it still feel like a family. It still feel like Bohdan kept the tradition going with when students walk in, we want them to feel welcome. You know how the first day of school is. Everybody nervous, everybody scared. It's like, oh, like now, if we have a senior we have a student that been there for 4 years, 3 years, they know how to welcome the other students. They introduce each other, they talk about each other's backgrounds, they really get to know each other. And that's why I think we build the bond that we build. And yeah, and from there, on out, I think I've been a huge advocate for students around the Shorewood as far as if you need help, let us know, because if the regular classroom not working, we have an alternative learning program that will help you. We will not give up on you, and we will be going to get through this together. And I tell them we're going to get through this together, or I'm going to drag you by your collars to the graduation line. So, and it's been like that ever since. So thank you guys for listening.
And one more thing to that, I wouldn't be the person who I am without H. So I mean, he's dragged me through the dirt, and
In a good way, guys.
if I get in trouble, he's the one that calms me down so I don't get in more trouble than I am. So, I mean, he's probably the one that's helped me in like my hardest times. So I wouldn't be the person I am without him.
I love you guys.
Okay, so when I joined New Horizons for the first time, which I'm a freshman, so it's my first year joining, and I'm the newest kid. So when I first joined, I was very, very scared and nervous because I didn't know anybody. But then when I walked in the classroom, everybody welcomed me. I had friends right away. I'm so happy that I got accepted to New Horizons, and I have like this huge group of people just supporting me all the way. Like Bohdan, Mr. H, everybody. Just thank you guys.
Dylan was the one who came back from spring break and like told Bohdan 4th hour. And Bohdan told us the story. Dylan came in 4th hour and he's like, I'm so happy to be back. I'm so glad to be here with all my friends. And yeah.
And going back to like how we found New Horizons, like I've noticed that like I've heard more people saying that they've been struggling in school within my friends or whoever, and it's just like almost as like who do you think can help work with? It's just like the recruiting process too. It's like you want to talk to your friends about it and have, we just try and gather out people because like, you want to create a group that's like collaborative, but they can work together, and that's part of like the process. It's different than another class. It's like, oh, you should switch that class. Like this isn't just like just a class. You spend a lot of time doing stuff. So if you're going to be doing something for so long, you might as well be doing it with people you want to do it with and who you can work with.
So thank you for coming to all of you. I just wanted to say that I think everybody deserves an education that works for them, and maybe what's most impressive to me is that there's somebody here who's made it their life's work to make sure everybody gets what you have. And you've done a great service by creating another teacher, so thank you so much.
I really liked how you guys said us, not them. I think if more of us think about things as us, not them, we have maybe fewer problems. You guys are one of my favorite presentations when you come, so thank you. I'm just curious because we have a great crowd tonight to hear you guys. But I think that the story of what you guys do isn't shared as widely in the community as it should be. So I'm wondering, will you guys be presenting at the Authentic Learning Showcase?
Yes.
You will?
Oh, good.
Awesome, good.
We
So
will.
we'll do a better job of getting people there to hear about all of those. That's great. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys.